On to one of our headlines now, or headline stories, I should say. The Vodacom Durban July organisers are rubbishing reports that the event is in jeopardy. There have been reports that the Phumelela Gaming and Leisure is facing strike action due to a restructuring process. But organisers say Golden Circle Racing and Gaming are the licensed operators of the horse racing event taking place in KwaZulu-Natal this month, and the race is on track for Saturday. For clarity on this, I'm joined on the line by Graham Hawkins from the Golden Circle, who is joining us now. Mr. Hawkins, thank you very much for your time. Just again for you to set the record straight here, is the Durban July event for this year in jeopardy?
Morning, Gully. Thanks very much for the opportunity. Absolutely not. We issued a media statement yesterday setting forth a statement which clearly suggests, and we're very confident, that the Vodacom Durban July will go ahead on Saturday as planned. There were some incorrect assumptions made in the initial news story that came out, which suggested that Phumelela was the controlling body, and I think I'm quoting it fairly accurately, of the Vodacom Durban July. Well, the truth of the matter is that Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited has no jurisdiction in KwaZulu-Natal at all. They have nothing to do with the Vodacom Durban July. And while there may be a dispute between the trade union and Phumelela, about which we know very little because it's obviously from a Gold Circle's perspective, not our business, they have absolutely nothing to do with the Vodacom Durban July. And for the union to suggest that the Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited are the controlling body for the event is absolutely incorrect. So we're all set to go. And as per our statement issued yesterday, the event takes place at the Hollywood Bets Gravel Racecourse in Durban, well outside of Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited's jurisdiction.
In your view, why would the union make this kind of an error? Is there some kind of relationship between yourselves as Gold Circle Racing and Phumelela Gaming?
Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited, they operate in all parts of the country except for KwaZulu-Natal. Gold Circle is the licensed authority in terms of staging race meetings and betting on race meetings in KwaZulu-Natal. Phumelela hold no licenses at all in this province. Clearly, there are two racing operators in South Africa. One is obviously Phumelela Gaming and Leisure Limited. They operate racing in Gauteng, in the Western Cape, in the Eastern Cape, and the Northern Cape. And the other racing operator is, of course, ourselves, Gold Circle, who operate racing and betting in KwaZulu-Natal. In terms of a relationship between the parties, obviously we recognize each other insofar as it makes sense to work together in terms of arranging fixtures, etc. We do that, but we are completely independent bodies, and there's no formal relationship. There's no cross-shielding or anything of that nature. We're totally independent of the other. So I'm not quite sure how the trade union got their facts in this matter incorrect. There is obviously an event taking place at Turfentine, which is in the Phumelela area on the same day. They're holding a race meeting of their own, but the Vodacom Durban July is, of course, at Gravel Racecourse in the heart of Durban here in KwaZulu-Natal. So maybe there was some confusion around the fact that Phumelela is, in fact, staging a race meeting of their own on the day, alongside the Vodacom Durban July race meeting, which happens in Durban. That is possibly the only source of their confusion, although I would have imagined they would have got their facts correct before issuing statements of the nature that they did.
Yeah. So while you assure the 50,000 plus revelers that are likely to attend that event this Saturday that things will go smoothly, have you prepared for any sort of disruption? Because clearly these threats are quite imminent, and there's a reason why this event has been targeted by the unions.
We obviously work very closely through our Event Safety and Security Planning Committee meetings. We work very closely with the local police authorities, the Metro Police, crime intelligence. We have our own security measures in place. And yes, we contemplate obviously all of the risks, not just this one, that might arise as a result of the Vodacom Durban July being a high-profile event. We are very satisfied that we have everything in place necessary to deal with anything that might arise, although if there was to be any action at all, which hopefully will not happen, I would imagine that will happen in Johannesburg rather than in Durban, but let's hope that from that perspective even that sanity prevails. I understand from the trade union's statement, and that's my only source of this information, is that they are still in ongoing discussions with Phumelela, and a deadline of later today, Wednesday, the 3rd of July, was quoted in their article, in their statement, in their release. I'm not sure how that is being handled because, as I said at the top of this interview, that has absolutely got nothing to do with Gold Circle. It's got nothing to do with our employees. We are not at the present stage busy with any restructuring of our organization. The trade union, I have to be honest, I'd never heard of them before, so we have no dealings with them. They have no jurisdiction in this province or with Gold Circle or any of its employees at any. We do deal with trade unions, but not the one in question. So obviously, yes, we're aware of obviously all of these statements that are being made, and obviously in terms of our event security planning and our association with crime intelligence and our association with the police and the Metro Police on the ground, etc., we have taken measures or put measures into place to ensure that none of the 50,000 that are expected to be at Greyville will be affected negatively in any way.
All right, Graham Hawkins, thank you very much for your time. He speaks for Gold Circle Racing and Gaming. They are the ones behind the Durban July organization this Saturday.